She goes, always, who's your guest? And then I tell her who the guest is. And then she goes and she picks something out for me. This morning was different. She goes, what are you going to wear? No idea. She goes, who's your guest? I said, well, it's going to be Tony Goins. And she goes, you're toast. I go, wait, what do you mean I'm toast? She goes, you could roll in there in a tuxedo, stand next to Tony, and look like you just crawled out of a tent. And I'm like, oh, which is true, but, you know, Tony, thanks for the kick in the backside.
Yeah, honey. But it's true, though. Tony's here in a hoodie and a baseball cap and sunglasses, and ain't nobody going to do that. I mean, I'm like,
I was going to ask, my first question was going to be, do you own a hoodie or a pair of sweatpants? And apparently you do, because good for you.
Yeah, I love it. But it looks good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well, Gary.
Good.
And big shout out to your business, man. I love what you're doing in the real estate market.
Yeah.
And all those beautiful thank you cards you send me, man. You
you
always warm my heart. I just want you to know that.
There's something, you know, we lost that years ago with all the digital stuff of just writing a personal note. And it's crazy how much it means to people. I was with I had a lunch one day with a client that I had from the flower shop forever. And we're eating lunch and she goes, you really touched my heart when you sent that note. And I said, oh, well, that's good. And I'm thinking, man, it's been a long time. And she pulls it out of her purse.
Oh, yeah.
And it's beat up. And she goes, your words just made me feel really good that day. And she goes, I read this all the time for inspiration. I was like, oh my Lord, well,
I feel the same way.
But and now I'll get them once in a while. And I'm like, they are. It just makes you feel real good.
It does.
I got in the habit. So this was probably, I don't know, 20, 25 years ago when I was first working at KLA and as a sales guy, Fred Monick, who sold here forever.
Yeah, he was an awesome guy.
He said, write a handwritten note. That was his big thing. And I never got out of the habit. I still do it to this day. Yeah. And it gets you more business and more attention than anything else that you do.
Because it's just not done. And then they've now recently come out where you can have a machine do it for you. You do your handwriting, and copy, and I go, oh, no way.
No,
you know, and the young realtors I work with, well, that's not young, newer realtors that I work with and talking about what my process is. We call it the Ninja 9 step. It's not my process. It was taught to me by the company that does that. But 2 note cards a day is one thing they do. And they'll be like, I don't know what to say. I go, it isn't, you're not writing a thesis or anything. Just,
that's right.
You know, you can just say something like, hey, it was great to see you the other day. Hope you and the family are doing well, you know, or whatever. I'll look on Facebook. And if I see somebody's hurting, I'll write them a note.
Yeah. Good for
you. It means a lot to people.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, it means a lot to me, which is why I brought it up.
Well, good.
It's incredible. So thank you. And I have all of them.
Oh, good.
You sent me.
I love it.
That's the difference.
I started getting in that habit, but then after a while you get a pile of them and then you move and it's like, what am I going to do with all these thank you notes? You know, but people hang on to them. Yeah. It's crazy.
And if you think about 2 a day.
Wow. Yeah. I don't even do that. I mean, I do.
It's not like football practice.
Yeah.
It's way easier. There's no sweat.
And I've noticed though, my handwriting is still pretty good. Just because of the habit of handwriting thank you notes.
Yeah.
And I see people like Shannon doesn't do a lot of handwritten notes and her handwriting is good, but you can tell that it deteriorates because you're not using those muscles.
Yes.
You know? Yeah. That's crazy.
My grandmother lived to be 110 and she
my goodness.
She wrote cursive notes all the time. She had 302 offspring when she died. My youngest was her 167th great-grandchild.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we would all get handwritten notes from her all the time. I bet she probably wrote 10 a day, I'm guessing. I don't know. A lot.
Wow.
You know what's funny?
She was sweet.
This week, Shannon goes, you should get Veronica on the show. She would be a trip. Is that your mom?
Oh, my mom. Yeah. She would.
And because she's what, 90?
91.
Yeah. And went skydiving.
Yeah.
And she still deadlifts.
Like 89, lifts weights.
And I'm sitting here going, wow, man.
Yeah. Listen, Tony,
I want to come in for that show.
I had my knee surgery and, you know, things weren't going. I mean, it was tough, right? When rehabbing your knee surgery. And so I go into the gym and same gym she goes to. It's just a private gym. Sure. And up on the wall was a whiteboard, you know, and I do my deadlifts and I look up and he'll ask you ahead of time, do you want me to write what your PR is or whatever? And, you know, and I look up and I'm like, you could erase mine since I'm 30 pounds less than my 91-year-old mom. I was like, I mean, I got back up there, but it was like, holy crap. This isn't good.
Well, and you can't complain to mom either. Like, oh, my knee hurts.
Yeah.
You know, I went skydiving at 90, right?
Right. Well, she was in a card club, and these women who are like 10 years her younger or more.
Sure.
They're all like, before she's skydiving, they're like, well, Veronica, are you sure you want to do that? And she goes, finally, one day I just said, why do you all keep asking me, And then one of the ladies who's like 74, she goes, well, because, Veronica, you could die. And she goes, I'm 89, right?
I'm 89.
Like, I want to go out. She's like, if I'm going to go out, I want to go out that way, right?
Yep.
I don't know if she would have really felt that way had it happened, but it was cute. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she'd be a fun guest.
So today, talking with Tony, and Tony, I was looking through your LinkedIn profile, and you have had such an interesting background. You have done a lot.
Yeah.
And you grew up in South Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. Lived in South Carolina though, but I grew up in North Carolina.
Okay. Yeah. And when did you leave South Carolina? Tell us, just kind of give us some points across your journey out of Carolina.
Yeah. Well, born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18.
Appreciate your service.
Yeah, it was an honor to serve. I was an M60 machine gunner, stationed at Camp Lejeune, and had a chance to travel the world. So it was an honor to wear the uniform. The impetus for my joining the Marine Corps was I became a teenage parent. My daughter, Tanika Goins Brockman, was born when I was 17 years old. And so I needed a way to be able to provide her with insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance was really important. So I joined the Marine Corps, had a really good career for just 4.5 years, but I left the Marine Corps as a sergeant. From there, I came back to Greensboro and went to work for a company called American Express. And I started there as a security guard. I was checking badges at the front desk, and there was a gentleman named Malcolm Mitchell who was a director there. And my aunt, God rest her soul, Yvonne Holloway, who just passed away a couple of days ago, I asked her,
so sorry.
my security guard uniform, those security guard uniforms, They're all big and baggy.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted mine to fit like my dress blues.
So there you go.
Yeah. So I took it to her and she tailored it up. And so I was a sharp security guard. And Malcolm one day asked me if I could do anything else other than guard this front desk. And I said, Malcolm, I've got 2 kids and a family at home, a wife at home, and I'm making $6 in a penny an hour here and unloading trucks at night. You give me a chance. And I didn't know what they did, but I knew it had to do something with credit cards. And it was over 6,000 people in the building. So Malcolm gave me a chance to shadow a credit authorizer for 2 hours. And after 2 hours, I went into his office and I regurgitated everything that credit authorizer did. He said, you learned that much in 2 hours? And I said, yes, sir. So the next day he goes down to human resources and he says, I'm gonna hire the credit authorizer.
Nice.
The security guard is the credit authorizer. And HR said, well, you can't do that. He doesn't have any of the qualifications, no degree, he has nothing. And Malcolm said, I'm gonna do it anyway. This guy took a chance on me. He did.
Exactly.
And it changed my life, So I went to a credit authorization class, graduated in the top percentile. Did 9 years at American Express and ended up, going from a security guard to a senior manager there. And then Malcolm gave me another opportunity. He moved on to a company called QVC, and he was the general manager there. He had a big operation, and he hired me to move to Chesapeake, Virginia, and take over an organization of over 700 people.
Jeez.
One man gave me 2 breaks.
Malcolm's a smart man. We talk often on this show with a lot of business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that comes out often is hiring for culture.
Yeah.
Not skill, not skill set, not if they have the qualifications.
That's
but
right.
Hiring for the culture, which is exactly what he did.
That's what he did.
And it's something, and I think that is starting to change in America quite a bit. It used to be, this door is not going to open unless you have a college degree.
Right.
Yeah.
I was literally, I always had my business, but I was working to raise some extra money at one point in my life after 9/11 when things went south for every business owner. And
Absolutely.
I was working for Gallup for a little while, and Gallup was like, Gary, would you ever consider selling your shop? We'd love to have you up in Omaha at the executive office. We think you would be great with training and development. And I said, well, I'm always open to ideas and everything. Okay. So when I'm looking at the paperwork they wanted me to fill out, I was like, oh, I don't have a college degree. I went to college for 3 years, but
same here. I went for 2.
I had an unexpected child, like I didn't know how that happened.
Right. Did you get a book?
I didn't get a book.
I know.
I was like, You're what?
Yeah.
Wait. Anyway, you had to have a college degree.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we'll send you back. I'm like, I don't want to go back to school. And they go, hey, you can get, he goes, you can get a degree in underwater basket weaving. You just have to have a degree. And I thought, that's sad.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
well,
80s
and 90s, I mean, they did.
Yes.
The culture was a thing, but it wasn't very prominent.
No.
And a lot of military guys, it's like American Express. You don't open up the newspaper. Yes, kids, we used to look for jobs in the newspaper.
Right.
And American Express is hiring for creditors and customer service agents and machine gunners, right?
Right. Right. They weren't hiring for machine gunners, that's for sure.
They might have to today.
Right.
I've all been a bad way that way, but I mean, you didn't.
Yeah,
right.
but
Very true.
you have this group of highly qualified people who they might not know credit, they might not know banking, they might not, but they know the chain of command. They know how to get up and get to work. They know, I mean, they are trained a certain way. Now all you have to do is train them in what you do.
That's right.
And
that's right.
I think so many businesses, they're starting to catch on now in the last 10 or 15 years, but missing huge opportunities.
That's right.
Because I think of when we were at our biggest, we had 15 employees, right?
Wow.
So 17 people in the building. 2 of them did not have college degrees.
Yeah.
Me and my wife.
Yeah.
You don't need a college degree. Not that you shouldn't get one.
Yeah.
Maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. I don't know. But it's not the key to unlocking everything. So
that's right.
Monday, I spoke to a class at the College of Engineering, the Kiewit building down there, and to the Kiewit scholars. So a lot of people don't know Kiewit sponsors 160 students every year in the engineering college, and they pay everything for them.
Wow.
And it's based on, of course, academic, you have good academics, but also just on financial need or whatever. But they, as part of their scholarship, which I love this, right? Because they don't teach this in high school either. And we need to focus back to that, is they teach life skills. So they are required to go to so many hours of life skills. So the life skill I was teaching them was, what does it take to buy your first home? How do you budget? What do you do?
Sure.
And it was 42 students, and it was one of the best classes that I have ever spoken to. They were engaged. They asked questions. And I'm finding myself, as I'm getting older, I don't know about you guys, but finding myself thinking legacy minded. The grandkids are getting older, and you're like, I'm going to leave this world. I mean, 2/3 of my life is behind me, and the last third, I'm going to keep trying to stay out of jail, keep trying to do all the other things, right? But I think a legacy is important. And I was like, man, we're going to be left in good hands, because you hear the negative all the time.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, let's run to a break here real quick. We want to thank our sponsors, Sartor Heyman Jewelers and Red Rhino Roofing. Also want to give a quick thanks to Mendoza Family Insurance. Mendoza is one of those insurance agencies that actually picks up the phone when you call them, and they know you by name. Auto, home, business, they help you understand what you're buying, not just try and sell you a policy. Learn more at MendozaFamilyInsurance.com. That's MENDOZA FamilyInsurance.com. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. I'm Travis Filing. That's Gary Tharnish, and we're talking with Tony Goins of the Capital Cigar Lounge, and we're going to get more in-depth in Capital Cigar when we come back right after this.
Club.
Okay,
that's our
second lounge
again.
The
Apiary. This is the logo.
Apiary
Social Club.
Where's that at in Omaha?
144 in Dodge, right across from Carson Wealth. My partner Paul West, myself, and Austin Hillis. Yeah,
nice.
So we've been open 18 months here. So
wow,
good.
So I'm representing both brands.
There you go.
Good
That's
deal.
Right.
You had said you had a store in Omaha, and I was looking for it, and I assumed it was Capital Cigar, and I couldn't find it.
It's a supermodel cocktail side with high-end wine, craft cocktails in a cigar lounge, 2,000 square foot terrace.
Nice.
It's really about a 10,000 square foot facility. So it's a beautiful venue right behind Mahogany's, the new Mahogany's, and the new Charleston's next to Gunderson Jewelry.
Wow.
Yeah. Nice. That's where we need to go. We need to go up there.
Yeah, we do.
You let me know.
Young man.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it.
Yeah.
So let's get back into, so you had went to QVC.
Yep. Spent a couple of years there, and then my trek took me to Cleveland, Ohio, your hometown.
I've been there.
Yeah, with Key Bank.
Yeah.
And my career just started growing. And what I will say is, listen, education is really about what you do in terms of your work ethic and the amount of preparation, which I'll talk about with my Tonyisms. But I really just engulf myself with understanding the financial services industry through reading Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Bloomberg. if it had anything to do with macroeconomics, I became maniacal about learning it. I would go down a rabbit hole on any aspect of how macroeconomics impacted microeconomics and how that impacted a person's home. And so, you know, your track has to be, regardless as to whether you finish a formal education, you still have to be educated. You can't compete unless your preparation is as of such.
Yeah, it's not a destination. It is you're learning or you're dying.
You learning
never ends.
It never ends.
Yeah.
That's right. So yeah, Key Bank. And then I went to work for Ford Motor Company. So I moved to Dearborn, Michigan. And this is all on the credit side. And Ford moved me around about 6 times. I ended up in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I led Ford's West Coast operation. That was about a $20 billion portfolio. Had about 1,800 people. And so I led that entire P&L.
Wow.
Which was pretty complex underwriting and marketing and sales. And I mean, you're the CEO of a $20 billion business.
Look
for
at
the most
you.
part.
You really are a big deal.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
is.
This is my disclaimer, and I mean this with all sincerity. Anything I say today is for no personal glorification.
I get that.
I would hope that something that I say based on my story will help edify and inspire someone else. And I do it all through the grace of God.
Amen.
All through the grace of God.
And, you know, the learning is the big deal, right? I mean,
really is.
Constantly educating. And, you know, it's interesting when you think of school, and I'm not dissing a college education or anything, because there's so, like, I definitely want my doctor and my dentist to graduate.
Yeah. I prefer they have a degree.
And also economic, whatever it might be, but also the real world lessons are where you really get your training. And one thing that you said that I thought really sticks out, and everybody that we interview, work ethic. You know, when you talk about hiring for culture and then training anything, man, work ethic is a really big thing.
It really is.
You show up and you're there and you're reading at home and you're studying, you're passionate about what you're doing, and you want to be the best. I mean, who doesn't want to hire that person?
Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
And there is the sweat of the brow, the ache of the back. There is no education that is going to usurp that.
Exactly.
I mean, you need to get out there and work hard. And some people have, you know, a higher springboard, so to speak, to start out their lives, and some don't. And I use myself as an example. I mean, we grew up poor, all capital letters, bold, underlined, italicized, poor, right? Yeah. And the only thing, whoops, there we go. I'm spilling water. The only thing that got me out of it was hard work. That's the only thing that got me out of abject poverty was hard work.
That's right.
That means anybody and everybody out there can do it. They can get out of this mess.
Well, and not being a victim. You know, it's really important to not feel like you're a victim.
That's
right. We didn't grow up poor. We grew up definitely lower middle class. You know, I mean, we worked hard for everything we had. And I remember, you know, leftovers were big. You did what you had to do. But one thing that my father always said is work ethic. That was huge for him.
Yep.
He was an electrician, so we'd go out help, you know, on the weekends. He was always helping someone for no charge with, you know, drove my mom's nuts. I mean, for 40 years, she goes, can we move this one outlet over 2 feet before you go redo their home? But we would work all day and it'd be a big mess. And we're going back the next day in a room where nobody's going to go. I'm like, why do we have to clean up? And he goes, I don't want to hear that question come from your mouth again.
Sure.
No matter what you do in life, when you're done, you clean up after yourself. Your mess is nobody, and you learn these things as you go along.
You do.
In work ethic, it's so important. I remember starting getting calls from people or from employees in probably about 2005 on up, for some reason, where I'd just be like, hey, I just don't feel like coming to work today. Me either. Guess where I am?
Yeah. Guess where you're going to be in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, we got a hard break coming up, and I better read this copy because I spilled water on it and it's all blurring together. But I want to give a quick thanks to the UPS store for sponsoring the show. For business owners, the UPS store is more than shipping. It's more than printing. It's printing, it's mailboxes, signs, logistics. They actually save you time. And if you run a business, the UPS store is a great local resource. 5 Lincoln locations, and they've moved a couple of them, and all the moving is gone. So 39th and Old Cheney, 26th and Superior, 8600 Amber Hill Court. That's like right next to that Amoco station up there by Menards.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited about that. They moved it there just for me to save me some time. 50th and O Street and 1550 South Coddington, right inside Russ's Market. UPS stores, we appreciate them. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Tony Goins at the Capital Cigar Lounge, and we'll be back right after this. On the 402 Business Insider, Travis Filing, Gary Tharners, talking with Tony Goins at Capital Cigar Lounge. This segment is sponsored by Integrated Behavioral Health Services. And this is our 5 takeaway segment, which Tony actually brought 6 takeaways. So we get a little bonus takeaway, which is sponsored by Nebraska Farmers Network. And before we get to that, I want to finish getting through your career.
Sure.
And then we'll get to our 6 takeaways.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So from Ford Motor Company, I went to a firm called USAA, which take care of the military.
Yeah.
Which was great. And I worked for USAA Federal Savings Bank. And then a financial crisis hit. And like a good Marine, I really wanted to be in the war. So the epicenter was in New York City. I won't go into the financial crisis. You can research it. I mean, if you were around, you know what happened. You were in real estate, so you know what happened during the financial crisis. So I ended up getting an interview with JP Morgan Chase. I had followed Jamie Dimon my entire career. And this is the best banker in the world, hands down. And JP Morgan, largest bank in the United States, one of the largest in the world. And so I went through 33 interviews, and I got a job at JP Morgan.
Gonna interrupt you. How many?
33.
Okay, go ahead.
33.
Wow.
That was
That's a lot of interviews.
Yeah, 33. My last 3
Wow.
interviews were with a guy named Frank Bisignano. Frank now leads Social Security for the country as well as the IRS. A guy named Charlie Scharf. Charlie is chairman, president, CEO of Wells Fargo.
wow.
And so those were my last 2 interviews. And so
And what was the position again? Because I'm blown away by 33 interviews.
Yeah, this was to lead global operations for JP Morgan's student and automotive business. And I also had a position with what was called One Chase, and that was to aggregate all of the Chase business verticals so that customers felt like you were dealing with one company versus 7 or 8 divisions.
Right.
Okay. So 33 interviews makes
Smart
sense.
move.
This isn't some
Yeah.
throwaway job.
No,
This is a
no.
massive
Yeah,
job.
it was a big job. It was
Yeah.
a big job. So I was co-located between Dallas and New York City, and I had teams in Asia, Manila, Cebu, India, and all across North America.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a big job. So that went well. You know, again, it was during the financial crisis. I always say you learn more during a crisis than you do through good times.
You
and
bet.
it's easy to be a leader when things are going well.
That's
you find out real leadership during a crisis.
Exactly.
From there, my mother got pretty ill, and I needed to get back to the Carolinas. So I took a position with a company called Surters Bank in Greenville, South Carolina. This was a bank that was acquiring financial institutions that were basically bankrupt, and it was a $1 billion bank growing to $5 billion, and they needed someone to come in and just pull all of these financial institutions together and make them into one operation. Not long after, I got a call about a bank that was in trouble, and listen, I felt like I had the skill sets to do the job, but I said, "Where's this bank located?" They said, "Well, it's in Lincoln, Nebraska." And I said, "Nebraska?
Where's that?
Where's that?" I had no idea. I knew about Nebraska.
I've flown over it.
I knew about the football team,
Right.
but I'd never been to Nebraska before. And this was Cabela's, and it was the world's foremost bank,
Oh, yeah.
which was right here in Lincoln. So I relocated to Lincoln, Nebraska in 2014, and there were 2 people from JP Morgan that came with me. And we put together a great team, and, you know, Kevin Wirtz and Sean Baker, and Sean was the CEO, Kevin was the CFO, and we had a great opportunity to put some fixes in place and turn the bank into something special. And not long after, an activist came in and kind of shook our world up. Anyway, we had to sell the company. So we sold Cabela's to Bass Pro, and we sold the bank to Capital One. And then not long after, I got a call from then Governor Pete Ricketts. And he said, "I'd love for you to come join my cabinet and lead the economy for the state." So
Wow.
had a chance to do that for 4 years, led the economy through COVID. And we had great numbers. We did over $8 billion worth of economic development, generated 7,000 jobs, #1 economy in the country coming out of COVID by Politico magazine, and #7 on the CNBC Best State to Do Business. And we even had a chance to travel to the White House and brief President Trump during his first term in terms of the steps that we took here in the state to ensure that our GDP grew even during COVID, which was unheard of. So yeah, that 4 years, and Frank Bisignano, who I mentioned at the time, had become the chairman and CEO of Fiserv. And so I reached out to him and ended up joining Fiserv, which is where I work right now. I work for the Chief Risk Officer, Joanne Sebi. And so, yeah, that's my career.
Wow.
I'm sticking by it. It's been a blessing, a lot of experience, and
it's amazing.
Grace of God,
Wonderful.
I've had a chance to reach back and kind of do what Malcolm did for me and touch some lives, which is really what it's about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, what you're doing right now will touch lives, because a lot of people listen to this. It's on Spotify. You can find it everywhere, YouTube, and watch it. And it, you know, it helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
So along the way, I had a chance to form my Tonyisms.
Yes. I saw an interview. You mentioned it, but you didn't go through them. And I'm like, I got to know what these 6 Tonyisms are.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to jump into that. So let's just jump into it.
Yeah. So, you know, my Tonyisms were really formed by virtue of 11 mentors that really, I had a lot of mentors that touched my life, but there were 11. Of course, I mentioned first of my mother and my grandmother, Laverne Goins and Mabel Davis. And then I get to Walter and Yvonne Johnson. Walter Johnson was an attorney who lived across the street from me, and I'd never seen a Black attorney, you know, someone who wore a suit and tie to work every day. And I looked at this guy in the 3rd grade and said, man, I want to do that.
Right.
And so Walter and Yvonne became the mayor of the city of Greensboro, which is the same size as Lincoln, Nebraska, about 350,000 people. And then Dwayne Whiteside, who was my inspiration for joining the Marine Corps, Sergeant Major Lewis G. Lee. As a young Marine, this guy truly gave me a level of confidence that I carry today. Malcolm Mitchell and Sue Wilkerson, you heard me talk about Malcolm.
Sure.
Neil Feldbaum, when I was in American Express, this guy sent me through a leadership program at the Center for Creative Leadership that really gave me some skills that I carry today. Terry Chenault, this guy was at American Express, but he hired me at Ford Motor Company, and he was the one that trusted me with a lot of those big jobs. Reggie Van Lee, who was one of the top engineers in the world, helped me get through the financial crisis. This guy, I could pick up the phone anytime and call him, and he would give me practical advice on how to manage. Robert Blackwell, who is a maniacal technologist who really helped me to understand how economics, not this nonprofit mentality, really helps you out of poverty. And last but not least, Sil Mahalik. And she was the lady who believed in me to lead that $20 billion portfolio at Ford Credit. So Tonyisms.
Yeah.
Number one.
Now, I'm real curious because I actually, there's some things changing at the show.
Yeah.
And I actually stole one of your quotes, which is actually getting printed.
Okay.
So I'm curious if one of your Tonyisms, I'm not going to blow the whistle on it yet because I don't want to jump. I don't want to jump ahead of you, but we'll find out.
Sure. So number one is preparation. And you heard me talk about that earlier. Like, there's nothing you can do in life that does not require a maniacal amount of preparation. Anytime you go into something, you have to be a lifelong student. You have to have strong study habits. You know, what are you reading in the morning? First thing for me is always my Bible. But after that, I'm engulfing myself in anything that is happening around the world. And there are a series of newspapers and periodicals that I'm reading in the morning. So preparation. And preparation really starts with your vision and values, because your values determine what you believe. What you believe is synonymous with how you behave, and how you behave is an indicator of what your outcomes are going to be. So that level of preparation is super, super critical.
Yeah.
And that's Tonyism number one.
There's so much that you can learn about your business, whatever business you're in.
That's right.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And if you just, get off of Facebook, get off of Reels, get off all of this. Yeah. Nobody cares about that. It's not going to help you in your business life. It's just not.
Preparation.
Yeah.
Preparation.
Outstanding.
Number two is take tough assignments. I don't care what it is, because you're going to learn more during the tough assignments than you are those easy assignments. You take those tough assignments and you will become known as a problem solver. People will pay you to solve problems. So you want to take the most complex problems that you can find in any assignment and use that preparation to help solve the problems, and bring people with you to help you solve those problems. But you give them the credit. You don't take credit. You give them the credit. You're the facilitator. You help generate a level of deep thinking. And that deep thinking, I always say you got to ask why 5 times to get to the level of problem solving that is necessary. And when you do that, you give the credit and you learn in those tough assignments. So that's Tonyism number 2. Tonyism number 3, build relationships, because relationships matter. I can tell you almost any significant assignment that I've had in my life has come through a relationship, but you don't build that relationship because you expect something in return. You see, that's not a relationship, that's a transaction. You build that relationship because there's a genuine amount of care between you and the person, and you listen because you care about that person. But what I would tell you is, through the grace of God, you will get a return on the right relationships. My friend Paul Jarrett, who is the founder of Bulu Box, Paul would say, show me the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I will tell you who you are.
Yeah.
So you need to be careful about, I mean, it's not to say you're not kind to everybody, but those that are in your inner circle, you got to be really careful. There's a sign in my business. It says, sit with winners. The conversation matters.
That's the quote. That's the quote that's coming on our business card.
Sit with winners.
Yep.
Okay. And then at the bottom, it says hashtag relationships matter.
Yeah.
So you got to sit with winners.
My dad always said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
That's right.
And as a kid, you go, what are you talking about?
And every contact matters. Like Malcolm was working at American Express where you were the security guard.
That's right.
But you had contact with him, obviously, right?
That's right.
And you were kind, you were professional, all the things that attracted him to you, that went, you know what, I think I can help this guy out and move him up. I mean, he's got what it takes.
Yeah.
Right? Because you were kind. So you build
Kindness
relationships
matters.
no matter where you are in life, and
kindness
what you're doing.
matters.
Always.
That's right.
And
That's
it's
right.
free.
It is free.
It doesn't cost you anything to be kind.
It doesn't. And when someone provides you with an opportunity, if they believe in you, you better deliver more than what is expected, because they just gave you their endorsement.
Right.
Correct.
They put their name on the line for you. If somebody puts their name on the line for you, then you better deliver.
Yeah.
You better deliver. And that's all a part of your brand. It's part of who you are.
Yeah. Because if you don't deliver, they're never going to step.
They never do it again.
They're the one who gets hit, not you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're the one that takes the hit.
That's right. That's right. Tonyism number 4 is service. Like you can't, I firmly believe that if God blesses you, you have an obligation to give back. Service. And there's service to your church, service to your family, service to your community. You give back with no expectation of a return.
Amen.
Like, you don't give something to somebody and expect them to give you something back. When you give from your heart, and the Bible talks about giving and philanthropy in its own way, but you have to do that. And that's Tonyism number 4. Tonyism number 5 is, you have to be optimistic. I mean, if you look at what's happening in the world today, boy, you could wake up in a down mode
every day.
Oh, it's
every
easy.
day.
It's easy.
Really easy. I go to the stock paradox, and it talks about understanding the reality of a challenging situation while having faith that you'll prevail in the end.
Right.
And it's Admiral Stockdale, and so being optimistic, you got to have an attitude of gratitude. I mean, no matter what, everybody's going through something in life, but how do you elevate yourself by being grateful? I always say that if I can get up in the morning, put my 11s on the ground, I read the paper, and my name wasn't in the obituary, that means I still got a chance.
That's it.
No matter what's going on, I still have a chance. You got to have that mindset.
Yeah. One of my mentors always said, in every challenge, be grateful and find the blessing.
Find the blessing.
Regardless of what it is.
Well, and for me to dovetail on that too is, I always tell my kids the world's full of pluses and minuses, whether it's social media, relationships, news outlets, whatever you watch, it either adds or it subtracts from your attitude.
Correct.
So you need to start cutting these minuses out. And if you're watching bad news, if you're watching, if you're wasting time on social media, you got to cut it out, man.
You got to cut
those negatives out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same goes with people.
That's
if
right.
there are bad people, oh man, there are bad people out
problem.
there, and they will drag you down way faster than you'll ever bring them up.
That's right. That's right. And the last Tonyism is really centers around economics. Economics matters. It's not about a money grab, but it is about being financially literate. If you think about poverty, and listen, I can speak to this because I've been severely challenged in my life, in my early childhood. And you look around and it hurts. It hurts when you can't pay your bills. It hurts when you don't have the financial means to be able to live in a warm house. And I have a bleeding heart for that. you know?
Sure.
And so I advocate around economics and financial literacy. It doesn't mean that you are out here just doing all types of unethical things to make money. But at the end of the day, if you can take care of your family financially, you can take care of yourself and you can give back, you can pay your tithes, then you feel good about yourself. You don't feel good about yourself when you always got to look for a handout, you know, and sometimes you have to do that. But I think overall, you got to find a way to be financially literate so that you can leave something for your family when you're not here,
right,
and you can take care of yourself when you are here on this earth.
I think that's one of the most frustrating things with our current education system.
It is.
We don't really teach kids how money works,
don't.
how to manage it, how to, I mean, you've gone out and you've worked hard to get that paycheck. Now, every single dollar has a job to do.
It does.
And what job are you assigning that dollar? And it could be a Big Mac, but what's that going to pay off in the future? Where you could maybe assign that to somewhere else that is going to pay off in the future. And we just don't teach that.
And there's propaganda everywhere that'll pull you exactly away from each of these things.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere.
I feel like we just struck gold. These are incredible.
Yeah.
This is probably the best 5 takeaways and bonus takeaway.
And I loved your plus and minuses. I wrote that down as well because I'm like, that's a great lesson. I make sure every one of my grandchildren know about that because it is so true. You can, Tom got a phone call this morning. It was on speakerphone. And as they were chatting, I was in the kitchen cooking. As they were chatting, you know, I heard her say, "Oh my gosh, when's this economy just blah 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 blah?" Like the world's coming to an end, you know. And Tom goes, "I don't want to talk about that at all."
Yeah,
you don't want to be aware. He goes, "I don't want to talk about that. I'm going to have a good day. We're going to a big fundraiser tonight. The world's great."
Right. Well, and
you have to turn it off.
I have always said, what's happening nationally. And what's happening in the White House and what's happening, you know, in Congress and the Senate and everything, does it affect you? Oh, yeah, absolutely. But you are going to have more effect on the outcome of your life than Trump or Obama or, you know, Feinstein or any of these politicians. So stop worrying about that.
Yeah.
Go vote.
Yeah.
Go, I like this, I don't like that, and vote whatever you think is going to be best.
Sure.
And then go to work. Stop letting these politicians run your life because you are going to have more of an effect on the outcome of your life.
We just, one of my favorite pictures is a man pushing a cart or pulling a cart, excuse me. And, you know, you see him, but his neck is really long. And then his head is 10 times the size of his body on the back of the cart he's pulling. And it's like, that speaks volumes of what our minds can do. Just went and saw Hadestown. A wonderful Broadway show if you have a chance to see it, but in it are the fates, and it's 3 women. They're the fates. They're the ones walking around and, you know, doubt, you can't do that, do that, doubt. You know, we all have that every day, right? You have to keep your mindset.
You do.
It's like an airplane that takes off on autopilot from Los Angeles headed to New York. Autopilot is constantly making the slightest adjustments all the time, so you end up in New York and not Greensboro, right? I mean, it's doing that, and that is what everyday life is like.
It is.
You have to constantly bring your mind when the negative thoughts enter.
Super
anyway,
important.
I love these.
Yeah.
So, and where can I buy your book?
Yeah, when are you writing a book?
Oh, wait. We're going to talk you into writing a book.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet. Yeah, you know, it could become a book. I mean, I could unpack
this
one
could
of these
easily become a book.
One of these Tonyisms. I've got real examples of how this has impacted my life, and
outstanding.
And stories are the best education.
Oh, for sure. Honestly. I believe that.
Yeah,
I do.
Well, that was 6 takeaways today, sponsored by Nebraska Farmers Network. We want to thank Nebraska Farmers Network for sponsoring the show. NFN exists to support Nebraska farmers and ranchers through education, advocacy, and connection. It's about strengthening agriculture in communities that are depending on agriculture in Nebraska. Keeping Nebraska farms Nebraska-owned. Learn more. Go to NebraskaFarmersNetwork.com. Also want to thank Wyuka Cemetery for their sponsorship. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, and just mining gold today with Tony Goins from Capital Cigar Lounge. We're going to have more right after this break.
Thanks for sticking with us. I'm Gary Tharnish with Travis Filing. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider, sponsored by James Arthur Vineyards. We're talking with Tony Goins of Capital Cigar Lounge, and the Omaha one is
Apiary Social Club.
Apiary Social Club, and that's at 144th and
144th and Dodge.
Okay, sounds great. We want to hear more about that as we go on here.
Sure.
This is time for our unexpected impact. That's this segment. Business is full of surprises, some good, some not so good.
Yeah.
So Tony, tell us about something unexpected that happened in your business and how you reacted to it and what the impact of that reaction was.
COVID.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
everybody's, right?
Yeah,
No
yeah.
kidding. And
Yes.
it killed a lot of business.
It did.
Yeah.
Or some rose out of it like you can't believe. I mean,
Yeah.
And for being you're a gathering place.
Sure.
COVID could maybe disrupt that a
Yeah.
little
well,
bit.
like
Extremely
me, I was in the event business.
Yeah.
That went south.
Yeah.
It was tough. It was tough. And I had the unique position of being a business owner, but also working for Pete Ricketts. So I was leading the economy. So I never forget, we were just coming, myself and at the time, Lieutenant Governor Mike Foley, we were just coming back from Japan, and COVID hadn't hit the United States yet, but it was already in Asia. And so when we got back, immediately the United States went on shutdown. And not long after, the first case was noted in Seattle, and everybody knows the story is spread across the United States pretty quickly. And the governor called me, and we had to shut down the economy. So I did a press conference at the state capitol. We shut the economy down, and then I went to Capitol and called the team together and said, listen, we're gonna have to close the doors, and here's the plan. So Governor Ricketts has signed an order to allow bars and restaurants to do cocktails to go.
Right.
So we came up with a plan. We worked with Charles Phillips, Mary Ellen's Barbecue. We put the barbecue truck in the parking lot. And we packaged up cocktails to go, packaged up cigars to go, and we went to work.
Yeah.
The great thing about it is the private lounge where the sign is, sit with winners, the conversation is different. That was a private lounge, and there's a conference room attached to it. And a lot of my members would use that as a workspace. So we didn't have to shut that part of my business down.
Oh, nice.
And the membership actually went up.
Wow.
Because people still wanted to have a place that they could still go enjoy
Oh,
their
yeah.
cigar.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
And
So-
have a chat. And
have a chat.
And we were
conduct
not
business.
created to hibernate.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So the survival of our business really centered around hustling those cocktails to go. We did deliveries.
Sure.
I got in my truck. If somebody wanted a cigar and a cocktail, I drove it to their home.
Wow.
And we had Mary Ellen's in the parking lot. It was a long line of people wanting to get barbecue, and we combined our POS system. And so you could get barbecue, and then you could get a cigar and a cocktail. We did a DJ in the parking lot, Derek Jones. And so you hear music in the parking lot. And, shout out to Dave Olson, who owns that complex, that allowed us to create all this activity
Oh, yeah.
so that we could keep the doors open.
Sure.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And then
That's
meanwhile,
awesome.
while I work for the state, we work very hard to push liquidity into the economic system here. We got, there was PPP money, there was ARPA dollars. There were a number of grants that the federal government provided us. You had to get it out and get it out as quickly as possible. And the team that I led at the state got that money out to businesses in the form of grants faster than any state in the country, which helped stabilize our economy.
Nebraska was amazing in a lot of ways. The Lead Center for Performing Arts was the first theater in the country to open up with Broadway any show
Really?
at all
Yeah.
after COVID. Yeah, because it was the mindset set in part by your example, the governor's example, everybody just going, okay, this is our situation.
Yep.
Here's our challenge. What's the solution?
We were the
And
first
work-
state to open
work on
back
it.
up.
I believe it. Yeah, I
very
know.
first.
I
Well,
know.
and so I'm the mayor of a small town just outside of Lincoln. And of course, Lincoln went on crazy lockdown.
We did.
I mean, it was crazy lockdown.
Yeah.
And for us, now we don't have a lot of businesses down in Panama, but you're supposed to rope off parks and I mean, all the crazy stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
hold on. And we were paying attention to the state a lot.
Yeah.
And you guys did an amazing job at getting us out of that mess. And we followed your lead, not Lincoln's lead. And thank God we did. Because it was a game changer. It really was.
It's important.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge.
Oh,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine it. I couldn't imagine trying to run the state during that fiasco because it was tough enough running a small town and a couple of businesses.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Well, and our business stayed open and needed to. And so then you have that perceived risk also. There's just so much going on with that. And I remember every day was a challenge, a
Sure
new
it was.
challenge. And you had to, lead through that and keep your eye focused that there's a light at the end of this tunnel. At the same time, you're thinking, I hope the kids aren't getting this. You know, I had a dear friend pass away from COVID.
Yeah.
She was hospitalized on August 28th, passed away 1st of October. Never came out of the hospital, ICU all but 3 days. And you know, at the same time, people going, this is overreaction and there's nothing to worry about. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you're feeling good.
Yeah, right. If you're young and healthy.
Nobody needs Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus medicine when you're on the beach having a good time and life is good, you know, but it's like, it was a lot.
And
man,
I think
that was a lot.
What was so tough running a business is a lot of times something bad happens, right? And the next day, the sun's it's a little brighter outside. You're okay. I've made a step. We've made a little progress. And then 2 days and a week and a month. We seem when that hit, we were just kind of getting descended into, you know, the fires.
Yeah, it was
every day. It got worse, right? It was cloudier every day.
Darker and darker.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, this is not getting better. This is getting worse. Yeah. And how are we going to survive? That was dark times for everybody, without a doubt.
Well, that is when it was a little bit before that, but I had quit listening to news. I was getting way too many minuses in my life instead of the pluses, honestly. And it really pulled me down to a negative attitude. And I cut that out of my life. So when this all happened, I was like, did you hear on the news? Did you hear on the news? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear on the news, but I'm glad everything's okay. How are you?
Yeah.
Like, let's bring it back to where your feet are planted right now. How are you? You know, well, I don't know if like the world's coming to an end. I go, but you're not everything that's happened all around the world and everybody's not you today. How are you? What do you do? You know, and the personal interaction was just a tough one.
Yeah. And I was so lucky.
The lack of it.
Because I married up, right? So my wife.
You sure did. Yes.
I did. There's no, that's not tongue in cheek. I got lucky.
I love Shannon.
But Shannon was a bit of a visionary. And she's like, we're going to keep our doors open. We're going to keep these people employed, but we are going to reinvest our PPP money into this business, into a new venture.
Sure.
And it was like, for me, I'm like, I don't know about this. She was right. I was wrong. Typical. I only say that because she doesn't listen to the show.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, it was not an easy time. And you need to cut those negatives out of your life and keep being a visionary.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't say the leadership of Pete Ricketts during that was like I've never seen before.
Yeah, he did an immense job.
He was the CEO of the state. He had his cabinet together twice a day. We had a war room.
Yep.
Pete Ricketts, he showed his mettle as a leader during that time. And he was always optimistic. I mean, he was never, when we had our daily 2-day huddles, he wanted to know what was going on. He wanted to know how he could support us. I mean, this guy, I didn't think of him as the governor. He was the CEO of the state.
Yeah.
He was in leadership mode like I've never seen before.
And he made really sure you had what you needed to succeed.
He did. And he was always there. He came in every day. You know, when the vaccine came out, he got his shot. You know, we got our shots. And that guy, I'd work for that guy any day of the year.
Yeah. You know what got me about him? It was about a year or so ago. My son and I stepped on a Southwest Airlines flight, right? And we're up in Omaha, and we're sitting there waiting for the flight. And I see this guy who looks like Pete Ricketts, and I'm like, there's no way Pete Ricketts flies coach, right? There's no way this guy flies Southwest Airlines.
100%.
It was Pete Ricketts. Nice. And I walk in, I look, and it's not like I could mistake him for somebody else. And I go, Pete? He goes, yeah, regular guy. Yeah. I mean, this guy could charter a jet, right? Yeah. And here he is riding coach on a side. I love regular people.
That's right.
Because that's, to me, there's no, that hoi polloi, that phony. That blew me away. And then we get off the plane and he's like, hey, Travis, see you later. Like he actually knew me. He didn't. Yeah. Well, that was Unexpected Impact. Want to give a quick thank you to Lincoln Coin and Bullion for sponsoring the show. They've been a trusted local resource for precious metal, rare coins, collectibles, helping customers sell with transparency and confidence, especially now, right? I mean, did you see silver drop $20 an ounce yesterday? But it's up like $60 an ounce still overall. Go, and there's a ton of scams out there.
Oh, yeah.
Don't buy your silver and gold from a Facebook post. That's actually happening.
Yeah.
Go to Lincoln Coin and Bullion.
Yeah.
LincolnCoinandBullion.com. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish, talking with Tony Goins, Capital Cigar Lounge, and we're going to have more right after this break. Back on the 402 Business Insider, sponsored by the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. You want to talk about sitting with winners? Always sit with winners, right? Because it's a different conversation. Join the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Tony Goins from the Capital Cigar Lounge. And it's time for This Needs an Adjustment, sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. You know, business, it is. He was talking about flying from New York to L.A. And autopilot's making constant adjustment. Your business is constant adjustment. Life is constant adjustment.
Yeah. Sure.
You know, so what is something that happened within your business that, you know, needed an adjustment, a major adjustment?
Yeah. So, you know, what I would say is at the Capital Cigar Lounge, we have our mission. Our mission is to create many vacations for our friends. Our values are treat customers like friends because relationships matter, create an unparalleled experience with every visit, hire a staff that is professional while having fun, and then operate for the greater good of the community. The adjustments that we've had to make is to make sure it's easy to kind of get away from some of the values that you know are important, especially in a tight labor market. And what I will say is, no matter what, you can't get away from your values and you can't get away from your mission, because there is nothing more important than culture. And no one or two people are larger than the program, no matter what the talent is, what the scenario is. The importance of staying true to your values, the importance of staying true to your mission statement is synonymous with the success of your business. Because no matter what happens, if the culture is off, then you're going to see attrition. People are not going to be optimal in terms of their performance. And it's a problem.
Well, and guests will know it. Guests will sense it. You sense that sort of a thing right away. You can get it. You know, it's like that. That's not what I mean. I remember my favorite Mexican restaurant here in town. The gentleman that opened it. He and his wife opened it about a year after I opened my flower shop, and I ate there all the time. Loved it, and we just got to be really good friends. We went through everything for all these years, and the late 2010s they sold it. And the people that purchased it were like, oh, you know, we can save if we buy this kind of cheese, and we can save if we buy, I mean, because Mexican food's basically 7 ingredients, right? So the quality of those make a difference. And that was always big on them. In 2008, they were like getting, you know, all these, you know, companies are coming in saying, you can save a ton on cheese if you buy this. And they're like, nope, we're sticking with who we are. Right. And then suddenly it wasn't them. And after like the third visit, I'm like, this has changed enough. I'm not really coming back. And went back there a couple years ago and spoke with the new owner. And I said, tonight's meal was real good. And he goes, have you come here a lot? And I said, oh yeah. You know, I knew the previous owners, and, you know, we talked about that a little bit. And I said, you know, I came several times after you purchased a business and really noticed a change. And even in culture and the people serving us, it was different. You just felt it. Right. It's those little things. You just felt it. And he goes, boy, when we realized it and we changed back, he goes, we're getting our people back. So spread the word, you know, and I have.
Well,
and I'll tell you, the second adjustment really centers around the marketplace. You know, you got to monitor the marketplace. So a young lady joined our team, Abby Rose. She is a cocktail guru. She ran the program at the Wicked Rabbit in Omaha, Nebraska. She's on our team now, and the pivot is what you're going to see is, number one, we're not a cigar lounge, we're a hospitality business.
Correct.
We aim every day the doors open for anyone that walks through to have their mini vacations. But what we understand is that cocktails, the marketplace bears the fact that you really want great cocktails, and now we're moving to mocktails because there's some people that don't drink, you know, dry January. But when you think about the Capital Cigar Lounge now, you really should think about cocktails at Capital, because our cocktails are some of the best cocktails in the city. Beautiful wine selection. Abby has infused really some really, really great ingredients to create that experience. And the other part of it is our speaker series. So we had started that before COVID. By demand, the adjustment now is bringing that speaker series back. So the Something in the Water speaker series, where we have these phenomenal entrepreneurs that come in and share information about their business, how how they built it, how they scaled it, and the challenges they went through. I mean, early on, we had John Wirtz, who was one of the co-founders of Huddle. We had Matt and Natasha Plooster. We had Jason Metcalf. We had Bulu Box, our friend Paul Jarrett. We had all of these phenomenal speakers. Here recently, we had Adam Walter in January. He talked about artificial intelligence. We've got Bo Jones, if you know Bo Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Bo is our speaker on the 17th and February. And then on the 17th of March, we've got a guy named Brandon Peterson who founded a company called GeoKey. We were his very first customer, and now he's a global company.
Love it.
We have GeoKey at the cabin.
Yeah.
And we jumped on board quick with
we
that.
were the very first GeoKey customer.
Wow.
So
we probably weren't too far behind you.
Yeah.
Because this is about 2019, 2020, something like that. Yeah.
That's right. So we opened in 2018. We were GeoKey's first customer.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear Brandon's story, you can come out on March 17th, which is the third Tuesday. If you want to hear Bo Jones' story, who founded Career Pathways, and he also has a legacy construction business.
Right.
He'll be there on February the 17th.
Oh, interesting.
So
that's Bo, that careerpathway.com.
He is a beast.
Mind blowing.
You want to hear how Bo founded that company? Show up at the Capital Cigar Lounge at 6 p.m. on February the 17th. So the pivot has been, how do we create a much broader cocktail experience? Now, we still have great cigars. Of course, Jeff Fry and Max, and Kevin Cass. I mean, those guys do a great job with the cigars. But how do you create a phenomenal cocktail experience, which there's a broader market for cocktails than there are cigars? And how do you create a serious community situation by bringing those speakers in and teaching people about business? And that's what these entrepreneurs are doing.
Well, talk about hospitality. I love to go into a bar and sit up at the bar, and when asked what I would like, I'll say, surprise me. I want a spicy, warm tequila drink. And one of two things happens. Either you see a light go off, their eyes brighten, and they're like, this is going to be fun. I get to create, or you get this, well, what do you want in it?
Yeah, no, you won't get that. You won't get that with us.
I know, because you're talking about the experience. And that it's a mini vacation for me. I don't want to cook it myself or tell you what the ingredients are. Just surprise me. And I had one bartender once ago. He goes, well, what if you don't like it? I go, well, don't make me something I won't like.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you like. I go, do you like tequila? Yeah, make me something you'd like.
Oh, that's what you're gonna get there. That's what you're gonna get there. And our
it's an experience.
It is. Our general manager, Jeff Fry. Jeff just does a great job in bringing the bar and the humidor together. And of course, my partner, Austin Hillis. I mean, when I met Austin, we started Capital. He was a 21-year-old college kid. And he and I have just come together, and the Hillis family. I've had the opportunity to see him grow, from 21 years old and now to becoming a husband and now a father, and seeing him with 2 kids now and expanding his business. It's been a beautiful journey. It's been a tough journey. Entrepreneurship is not easy.
Yeah, no.
There are going to be some times, where you have some challenges. My wife, Kim Goins, has just been an inspiration to me during those tough times, because she gets to see me when I come home.
Right.
Right. When I walk out of the door, I have to turn the switch. When I come home, the switch goes the other way. And without her, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah.
We were talking about, you're going to hate to hear this, Travis, but the work-life balance thing.
He's
like, if I hear that again,
have it.
We don't talk about it. What I talk about with people about that is just be where your feet are.
Yeah.
Always.
Live in the
moment. Be where your feet are. You get home. If you need to talk about something at work, that's okay. But first, be where your feet are.
Sure.
Yep.
Right.
And enjoy it. Put the phone down. I told this story before, but I was in Hawaii 20 some odd years ago when I just first got married, and I videoed everything. Right. And I missed everything because I wasn't living in the moment.
Yeah.
I was trying to film, for everybody else to prove that I've been to Hawaii. Nobody cares, and nobody's watched it since, including me.
See it happen at concerts all the time.
All the time.
Man, put your phone down and enjoy this experience right now.
Take a selfie, then put the phone away and enjoy the experience. Enjoy the ride, even the bad times.
That's right.
Because there's so much to learn.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Well, we got a break coming up. I want to this needs an adjustment, sponsored by Ascend Chiropractic. When you need an adjustment in your business and in your body, do it before it gets out of hand. Total chiropractic care for adults and pediatrics, rehab, acupuncture, cupping, weight loss, all the things that I need today, they do. So the list goes on and on. To see their list of services or to schedule an appointment, go online to ascendchiropracticne.com. You're listening to the 402 Business Insider. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. We're talking with Tony Goins. One more segment to go right after this break.
Segment of the 402 Business Insider, sponsored by Barry Law. Gary Tharnish, Travis Filing.
That's me.
Not transformation marketing. Well,
Or transformation
marketing,
filing.
not Travis marketing. And we're talking with Tony Goins of Capital Cigar Lounge. In this last segment, we just kind of toss you the keys to talk about Capital Cigar Lounge and tell us about what's on the horizon for your company. You just kind of did on the break a little bit. You're bringing music back, but what's coming up?
Yeah. So as I talked about the pivot, something in the Water Speaker series, another pivot is our jazz session. So the third Wednesday of every month, we have Lewis Left Bass Wright, who is a world-class left bass player. He performs in Las Vegas. He's from Louisiana. He performs all over the United States, but he lives right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And he makes his trip back to Nebraska for that concert, which happens from 7 to 9. Every third Wednesday, and it is also featuring Lincoln's own Eddie Brown.
Fun.
So if you've not heard Eddie sing, I mean, this guy, he's a man of many talents. I mean, he does real estate, insurance.
Yeah, I'm wearing a pair of his boots tonight.
He's a
well, they're my boots, but he had them made for me.
He's a pickleball champion.
Yep.
But he's also a phenomenal vocalist. So Wednesday night jazz, Eddie Brown, Lewis Left Bass Wright. I think it's the 17th or the 18th of this month, February. Coming up, and we'll just continue to make sure that we deliver premium service. If you've not been there, don't worry. We got a great ventilation system, so don't just think this as your great grandfather's cigar lounge. Think about it as a venue that you can come.
I'm glad you brought that up, because
people.
if you don't smoke a cigar, that's fine.
It's fine. You get a great cocktail.
Still have your mini vacation, and
that's right.
The air quality there is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Here's my fun little Eddie story. I was at a fundraiser that he emceed, and all of a sudden he decides he wants to sing a song. He's like, Gary, come on up here. And I'm like, I'm going to pretend I don't exist. It's like, Mr. Tharnish, get up here. And I go up there and he goes, Gary's a good drummer. He goes, here's the podium. Give me a beat. I'm like, you kidding me, dude? So I play drums on this podium. That's Eddie, though. He's just so natural.
Maybe you should show up on a Wednesday night and bring your drums.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah,
sometime that'd be fun. I'll just bring a little snare and a hi-hat.
That's right.
That's all you need for some good jazz.
So if somebody I'll bet you I've smoked 3 cigars in my life, and 2 of them were probably Swisser Sweets.
Ooh.
Yeah. Did you see that? Oh man. Yeah.
We have the 5-second delay. Did you get word of that? That's not allowed on air.
That out like I used a curse word. So for somebody like me, I mean, I love the idea of smoking a cigar and having a scotch, right? But I know nothing about it. So do I need to go get coached up before I come see you?
No, you don't. You come in. You look. It's like church. Come as you are.
Okay.
There you go.
Come as you are.
So who do I talk to?
Man, let me tell you something. You can talk to any one of our teammates. You can talk to Jeff Fry. You can talk to Max. You can talk to Kevin Cass. You can talk to any of our teammates. Those guys are humidor specialists. They understand the craftsmanship, the aging of the leaf, the fermentation process, the region it comes from, depending upon what you've eaten at the time, whether you drink coffee black or with cream. Listen, Cigar 101, and then all of our teammates go through Cigar 101. So no matter who's there, they can help you understand something that is going to create a great experience with you, and then do a great pairing. We have great coffee. We got a good friend, Drew Weeks, who comes in and helps us curate coffee, which is the most paired beverage with a cigar, and that's coffee. Really? And so we just got an espresso machine, and we can do all types of cappuccinos and espressos, and so we got you covered. Don't
Basically, walk in the humidor there. Someone will be
Somebody's going to be there
and will greet you and talk to you about it.
That's right.
Tell you.
That's where I learned. I learned so much.
Yeah,
it's great.
And we do the same thing in Omaha at the Apiary Social Club. So
outstanding.
Both venues.
And
a lot of fun.
Give us the website.
www.capitalcigar.com.
And it's capital with an A, right?
Capital with an A.
Okay.
That's right. And follow us on all our social media platforms. That's really where you have a chance to kind of see what we're doing, keep up with the events. and make sure that you're up to date on this phenomenal venue that we're very proud of.
That's a good community there.
Yeah.
Online.
Yeah, community.
Yeah. Well, we got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah. So listen, this has been a great conversation. I can't thank you all.
It's been fun.
It has been fun. And for me, my life is centered around my faith, my family, my wife, Kim Goins, my children, Tanika, my son, Anthony, my daughter, Brianna, and my youngest daughter, Jayla. And then our 6 grandkids, Jalen, Jada, Jaya, my little precious Journey, who was just on the news because she wanted to create little kits for homeless people.
Oh, wow.
Little
That's
Journey.
Cool.
And then Reese Isabella Goins, who's in Athens, Georgia with her dad. And then my legacy, Anthony L. Goins III, little Trey, who's 3 years old.
Outstanding.
So it's a blessing. I wake up every day just thinking about my family and how do we make sure that we have a chance to be all together and do God's work.
Amen. Outstanding. This is probably one of my favorite shows that we've done.
Thank you.
In 2 years' time. And we will have you back. We got to have you back.
Yeah, hopefully
Get
with Malcolm.
I'll get Malcolm.
Get him out here. We will have him on
We
the
should
air.
call Malcolm right now.
Yeah, we can
Pick
do
up
that.
Malcolm.
We can do that. Well, you've been listening to the 402 Business Insider, sponsored by Barry Law in the Lincoln Airport. Tony, appreciate you coming in and talking with us. Travis Filing, Gary Tharnish. Next week, we are going to be on Sunday because there's another Husker basketball game on Saturday. But we will be on at 10, so 10 to noon, 2 full hours, talking with Matt Ryberg and Aaron Young from Chef La Chef. Matt and I actually worked in radio back at the Point back in the late 90s, so it should be a lot of fun.
Aaron's a good friend. We've done a lot of business together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for Grow Lincoln. Thanks for listening.
1499.3 KLIN.